Hello everyone and welcome to the Waffle Flower channel. It's Shannon here, and today I'm so excited to be with you to celebrate Waffle Flower's 3-year anniversary. Today we're going to be partnering with Marvy Uchida. I'm going to be using these Le Plume markers today on my card, and I will also be using a snow marker, which you see right here on today's card. In addition, I'll be using Waffle Flower's Across the Mile stamp set and Across the Mile matching dies. First, I'm going to start with a piece of white scrap paper. I've got both the balloons from the set as well as the ribbon and one of the little birds from the Across the Mile set. I'm just going to ink them up in Memento Tuxedo Black, which is an ink that's friendly with alcohol markers, which these Le Plume markers I'm using today are alcohol-based ink. I'm just stamping it twice so it's nice and dark. And then I will move on to putting the sentiment. So this stamp set comes with some great sentiments that you can fit inside that ribbon. I just used Sending Birthday Wishes. And now I'm going to start to color. So I'm using these Le Plume markers. They're from Marvy Uchida. And there are 36 in the count. It comes with a great box too that kind of locks, the lid locks on, which is nice for traveling. And they have a nice fine tip. The tip is somewhere between like a zig, if you're familiar, and a Copic, somewhere between there. It's not quite like a Copic and not quite like a zig, but somewhere in between there. And I did make a little, I swatched all the colors out, so there's 36, but one of the colors is a colorless blender, which is super great because you can use those colorless blenders to pick up any ink that gets outside of the lines, which you will see me do on this card. So I'm going to start with basically all my color blending today. I'm going to do it just 2 colors, so like a medium and a light. And I'm going to start with R815, and I'm going to use, my light will be R813. And I'm going to use the flick motion to get like a feathered look. So I always start my pressure where I want my darkest to be. So I want the darkest to be at the top of the balloon. So I'm starting at the top and flicking out. And you'll see I'll do it here. I'm starting more towards the middle, not going quite with my lighter shade. I'm starting more towards the middle and moving out to the edges. And then I'll move on to my darker shade, which is 815. And again, starting from the top and flicking outward. And that just makes sure it's darker at the top and getting lighter, progressively lighter towards the outer edge. And then a little bit more with the 813 just to soften and blend. And you can see what a nice, this ink is really beautiful. It really blends lovely. Really enjoyed working with these markers. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to a yellow shade. I'm using OY814, which is kind of like an orange yellow. The names make sense because it's OY, orange yellow. And then I'm using a yellow Y610. That will be my light. So I'm starting with the darker one, going just on the upper part of that balloon or ribbon of the balloon. And then I'll take the lighter and just blend out. So when I go with the darker shade, I don't go all the way to the edge because I want to leave some paper for the lightest color. And then I'm going back with that darker color just a little bit on the edge, just to again make that gradation a little bit, the upper part a little bit darker, so I have more contrast between my my lights and darks. Okay, so now I'm moving on to a blue. I'm using B701 and GB690. I'm just going to use the darker shade to color in those circles on the balloon, and then I will work. Now I want the bottom to be darker, so I'm starting at the bottom, I'm flicking upward and getting that feathery look. So this way we'll keep the base of that darker and will help make the transition when I start to blend more seamless with that flicking motion. Now I'm using my lighter shade, and I'm going back over. I'm already starting to do a little bit blending. I'm going over a little bit over the darker shade, not completely, and then blending out to the edge. And then again, I'll go back to my darker color and start at the base again. not going as far up this time, just a little bit shorter strokes. And then I will grab my lightest shade and I'll blend over again. And this lighter marker kind of picks up some of the color up of the darker, and it just kind of helps to blend it out so it's a nice smooth gradation of color. And now I'm going to go back to that pink again, so it's more of a coral color actually. So it's R815 and then R813. Same colors as I used earlier. And then I'll move on to the bear. And the bear, I'm using a brown. It is OR827. I'm going to start at the belly of the bear because I will use another lighter color, which is OR825, to blend up towards the top of his head. And because this bear is such a tiny little space, I'm not going to have to do much blending here. I'm going to move also straight to the basket with that O25 and start to do a gradation on the basket. Now for the basket, I'm only going to use that 825, and I'm just going to layer the ink, and that's going to create that gradation. So I'll do a little bit more after I finish this blue again on the basket. So I'll grab that 825 here, and I'll just do it at the base of the basket and then up by that blue ribbon at the top of the basket, and that'll kind of make that subtle gradation. Okay, so now I'm going to work, I just went straight with that 825 on the smaller basket for the basket for the smaller balloon, and I'm going to take my yellow now. This is the one I used prior, so it's OY841, and I'm going to color, it's my darker yellow, color the top of the balloon, of the little balloon, and I colored the belly and the bottom of the wing of the bird, and then I went with my lighter yellow, the top of the bird, and did a little gradation on the top of the balloon. And now I'm back to my pinks or my corals and just doing the same thing, dark to light, for the smaller balloon. So I'm basically only using like 4 colors here: a coral, a yellow, a blue, and kind of a light brown. And you can see I like it when you keep your color palette small, don't go beyond 5 colors. I think you have more success that way. Okay, so now I went ahead and die cut everything, and I also die cut 2 big clouds and 1 small cloud using the matching dies from the Across the Miles stamp set. There's some coordinating dies to go with that set. So you can see my 2 big clouds and my small cloud. And now I'm going to use that snow marker. This is seriously so cool. There's so many functions you can use with this marker beyond clouds. You can do, I've seen a lot of people do like wool on a lamb, which looks so great. Okay, so I'm going to stop real quick and just show you that I'm doing it rather thick. So you can see, if you can zoom in, I know it's kind of hard to tell because it's like white on white, but it's pretty liquidy on top there. In fact, if I tilted my paper, it might run off my die cut. So it's very liquidy right now. And I press down to get some of the ink to come out, and then I basically move it around with my tip to the edges. And I'm not going to let it dry or anything, so you can kind of see here how liquidy it is. I like it when it's very thick like that. I think you get really cool results, more dimension that way. Now I'm just taking my heat gun straight to it. I'm not drying it in between, not letting it air dry, I should say, in between. I'm just, while it's still liquid, I turn my heat gun on and bring it to it, and it starts to puff it up. It's so cool. And like I was saying before, you can use this for so many things, like wool or sheep's fur or whatever, and like frosting or ice cream. There's so many functions I think you can use this, and of course snow, obviously. But it's such a fun. I just can't wait to put snow on everything. I'm ready for December to put snow on all my things. Okay, so now I'm going to just start hearing this down. This is an A2 card, so it's just a very, very light blue sheet that I just folded in half cut it at 4 1/4 and then folded it in half. And now I'm just taking all my little images that I colored with the Marvy Le Plume markers, and then I die cut them with the matching dies. And then I'm taking the balloons too, or balloons, oh my gosh, the clouds, there we go, oh my gosh. And I'm gluing them down with some Tombow liquid adhesive. Just getting them all stuck down there. And I just love the soft colors that I got with the markers, and then the texture from that snow marker. Really cool. I think this turned out to be a really fun card. And then I'll take my sentiment here, and I'm just going to take some foam tape, cut a couple strips, and then add that to the back of my sentiment. And then I'll adhere that down. This will just give a little bit of dimension, because basically everything is flat except for obviously the texture on the clouds. But I went ahead and just glued all the other images, the colored images, down flat. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed my card, and you definitely want to stick around. We have lots of prizes for this whole celebration week. Today we're giving away, Marvy has donated some great prizes for you guys today, including the markers, the Le Plume markers, and that snow pin, and a heat gun. So you guys definitely don't want to miss out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.